Welcome to Gnanadiksha, a concept-based digital learning. I am Dr. D. Kavita, lecturer in botany, working at Telangana Social Welfare Degree College for Women, LB Nagar. Today, I am here to explain an interesting topic, seed structure, its appendages and dispersal mechanisms. What are the learning outcomes of this topic? After completing this topic, we are going to learn about what is seed, its parts and its structure. We will learn the process of seed development and also embryo and seed coat development. Next, we will learn different type of seed appendages and its development. And finally, we are going to learn about various seed dispersal mechanisms which takes place by both biotic and abiotic components. Before going to start the topic, I want to tell importance of this topic. Seeds are the basis of much food we are consuming and they are playing several crucial roles in agriculture. They might be small, inconspicuous things, but they hold a great deal of power. They are the most efficient means of propagating crops, maintaining and transmitting genetic improvements made by plant breeders. And seeds can restore the genetic biodiversity in agriculture. Coming to the topic, what is seed? A seed may be defined as the unit of reproduction which has the embryo and commonly food-laden endosperm enveloped by a seed coat derived from the integuments of the ovule. Beginning with pollination, the ovary is activated to form the fruit which encloses the developing seeds. And seed has a capability of developing into another such plant. The formation of the seed is part of the process of reproduction in seed plants called as spermatophytes, including gymnosperms and angiosperms. Seeds have been an important development in the reproduction and success of gymnosperms and angiosperm plants relative to more primitive plants such as ferns, mosses and liverworts which do not have seeds and use water-dependent means to propagate themselves. Seed plants now dominate biological niches on land from forest to grasslands both in hot and cold climates. Coming to the parts of a seed. A seed is made up of a seed coat and an embryo. The embryo is made up of radicle, plumule and embryonal axis with one or more cotyledons. Type of seeds based on number of cotyledons are two types, dicotyledonous and monocotyledonous. Let us see the structure of dicotyledonous seed. The outermost covering of a seed is the seed coat. Within the seed coat, embryo is present, consisting of an embryonal axis and two cotyledons. Cotyledons are often fleshy and full of preserved food materials. At the two ends of the embryonal axis, radicle and plumule are present. Coming to the structure of the monocotyledonous seed, in the seeds of cereals such as maize, the seed coat is membranous and generally fused with the fruit wall. The endosperm is bulky and stores food. The outer covering endosperm separates the embryo by a proteinous layer called alburon layer. The embryo is small and situated in a groove at one end of the endosperm. It consists of one large and shield-shaped cotyledon known as scutellum and short axis with a plumule and radicle. The plumule and radicle are enclosed in a sheath called coleoptile and coleorhizae. Coming to the seed development. Seed development is initiated by the process of double fertilization. It is an event unique to flowering plants. In this process, in two male gametes, one male gamete fuse with the egg cell form the zygote, and later it develops into an embryo. And the second male gamete fuses with the central cell and develops into primary endosperm cell. The primary endosperm cell divides repeatedly and forms a triploid endosperm tissue. The cells of these tissues are filled with reserve food materials and are used for the nutrition of the developing embryo. Endosperm may either completely consumed by the developing embryo before seed maturation. Such seeds are called as non-endospermic seeds or ex-albuminous seeds. These seeds we can see most of the Fabaceae members like soybean, peanut, chickpeas, etc. And endosperm may be present in the mature seeds called as endospermic or albuminous seeds. Example, castor, coconut, etc. And coming to the embryo development, it develops at micropylar end of the embryo sac where the zygote is situated. Zygote divides only after certain amount of endosperm is formed. This is an adaptation to provide assured nutrition to the developing embryo. And finally, the zygote gives rise to proembryo and subsequently to the globular, heart-shaped and mature embryo. Though the seeds differ greatly in monocotyledons and dicotyledons, the early stages of embryo developments are similar in both, corresponding with the development of embryo and endosperm of the ovule. The integuments and the nucellus also embark on certain changes which eventually result in the formation of mature seed. In a large majority of flowering plants, the nucellus is gradually utilized by the endosperm or embryo. For example, in leguminous seeds, the nucellus degenerates completely. But sometimes it is observed in Euphorbia species. In the black pepper fruit, the bulk of the volume is occupied by the persistent nucellus, which is also the chief food storage tissue, and endosperm is relatively very little. Such persisting nucellus in the seed is designated as perisperm. In Daphne himalayans, the seed has copious endosperm surrounded by perisperm, which is characterized by the presence of oil droplets and protein crystals. And very well known example for this perisperm is edible part of the coffee seeds, which we are using in coffee preparation. Coming to the seed coat development. The ovule has usually one or two integuments. After fertilization, there may be initially a proliferation of cell layers in one or both the integuments. An integument in which the cell layers increases is described as multiplicative. If the number of cell layers in the integument remains the same as in the mature ovule, then the integument is regarded non-multiplicative. Alternatively, a process of disorganization of cells may begin at an early stage. In either case, as the seed matures, most of the cell layers degenerate and get compressed. At the same time, some particular cell layers in one or both the integuments persist and may become hard to form a protective sheath. Cells of the protective layer often enlarge in the anticlinal plane, means perpendicular to the seed surface, and their walls become lignified and cutinized. Presence of the characteristic layer is described as sclerotic, mechanical, palisade or Malpighian layer, which is made up of macrosclerite. If you see developing from a bitegmic ovule, the persisting outer integument is termed testa and the inner integument tegmen. And if seed originating from unitegmic ovules. The seed coat is termed testa. Seeds with characteristic testa are called testal, and those with prominent tegmen are described as tegmic. Seeds in which outer part of the outer integument constitutes the mechanical layer are designated exotestal, and those having hardened inner portion are endotestal. Similarly, seeds with outer part of the inner integument modified as sclerotic zone are exotugmic, and those with inner layers forming the protective sheath are endotechnic. In some plants which have a stony or tough fruit wall, the seed coat may be thin and soft. These type of seeds we can see in coconut and almond. In cotton, the ovule has two integuments and both participate in formation of the seed coat. During development of seed coat in cotton, some of the outer epidermal cells of the outer integument enlarge and then elongate outward to form the hairs. These hairs are single-celled, thin-walled and attain a size of up to 40 millimeters. These hairs are called as lint hairs with a characteristic twist, whereas short hairs are fuzz hairs and without twist. The seed coat of certain plants is fleshy or juicy. Pulpy and fleshy testa can be termed sarcotesta. In Punica granatum, commonly called pomegranate, the outer epidermal cells of the testa enlarge and become filled with a sweet sap under considerable turgor pressure. This layer forms the juicy edible part of the seed. The inner part of the testa is hard and the tegmen is membranous. In Magnolia species, the inner integument forms the hard shell, whereas the outer integument is fleshy and brightly colored. Next, the size, shape, color and surface of the seed. These are also showing innumerable variations. Most of the orchids have minute seeds like dust particles. Seeds of majority of flowering plants are a few millimeters in diameter. Example, mustard, guava and poppy. They can extend to a length of about a centimeter. And these type of seeds we can see in castor, cucumber and groundnut. Some tropical trees and limes have fruit with very large seeds. In Lodacea maldivica, commonly called double coconut, has bilobed seeds as large as 10 centimeters, weighing nearly 6 kg. The seed surface may be smooth, wrinkled, striated, ribbed, furrowed, or it may have a variety of patterns on it. If you see the surface of lime seed and castor seeds, it may be glossy. In magnolia, it is fleshy or pulpy. As we discussed earlier, it may be covered with hairs. In cotton and Populus alba. Coming to the seed appendages. Seeds of certain plants have specialized outgrowths or envelopes. These structures develop following fertilization from parts of the ovule or funicle. Now I am going to explain the origin and structure of some seed appendages and how they help in effective seed dispersal. The first one is aril. It is an outgrowth that arises from the funicle or the testa near the raphe and covers the seed partially or completely. It is often referred to as the third integument. It is often fleshy or brightly colored. The edible part of lychee fruit is aril, which envelops the hard brown seed coat. In Myristica fragrans, commonly called nutmeg, has hard seed coat covered with thin, irregular, and bright orange eril that gives us the precious maize. In Telugu, we are calling as japatri, which we are using as spice. Seeds of Pithisillobium dulce, a leguminous tree, have a fleshy red eril that partially surrounds the seeds. In Crosoma caulifornicum, a fimbriate eril covers the seed on the sides. Cells of the eril contain oils, starch, sugars, pigments, and aroma containing compounds. Seeds of Nymphea alba, commonly called white water lily, have a spongy eril that provides buoyancy for dispersal of seed by water. The appendages is mostly an attraction for birds which consume the eril and scatter the seeds. Next one is carbuncle. This is white collar-like structure born on the micropylar end of the seed in many members of the Euphorbiaceae, such as Ricinus communis, commonly called as castor. The soft outgrowth capping the hard seed is formed by proliferation of the cells at the tip of the outer integument. It is rich in starch and sugars. The carbuncle is also considered to be hygroscopic and it may be helpful in absorbing moisture for seed germination. Next one is operculum. The term operculum is applied to a plug-like structure formed in micropylar portion of the seed by proliferation of cells at the tip of the inner integument of the nucellus. An operculum has been observed in seeds of many monocotyledonous families such as the Commelinaceae, Musaceae, Lemnaceae and Gingiberaceae and few dicotyledonous families like Bignoniaceae and Nymphaeaceae. In Lemna parvosicostata, cells at the tip of the inner integument undergo a remarkable expansion after fertilization and form a dome-shaped stopper like operculum. Cells of the operculum are thick-walled and contain an orange-red substance. During germination of the embryo, the operculum becomes detached from the rest of the seed and facilitates emergence of the embryo. Coming to the wings, seeds of certain plants have epidermal outgrowths or the integuments themselves may form folds and projections, the presence of wing-like appearance. In the tree of Voroxylon species, a thin transparently white circular or woven disc-like wing spreads all around the two-lobed seeds. The seed of cucurbit Xanonia macrocarpa has wings measuring up to 10 centimeters. In the drumstick plant Moringa oleifera, the seed has 3 equidistant wings. Seed wings provide large surface area with optimum strength combined with a minimum of material. Surprisingly, large number of winged seeds, they can be arranged compactly in a fruit. Wings help the seed to sail or spin some distance away when released from the fruit. Next, hairs. Have you observed some tiny structure with lustrous white hairs floating around in the air, especially in early summer? These are seeds which travel long distance with the help of hairs. Seeds of milkweed called Calotropis procera has a tuft of hairs at one point, but Adenium species of Apocynaceae have hairs at both the ends. Next, coming to the seed dispersal. It is the movement, spread or transport of spreads away from the parent plant. Usually, plants bear many fruits and innumerable seeds. If all the seeds produced by a plant germinate in the immediate vicinity, they will have several disadvantages. The resulting seedlings would compete intensely among themselves for space, light, water, and minerals. They will be more vulnerable to attack by pests and pathogens. Moreover, there will be greater chance for backcrossing in the resulting progeny, rendering them genetically inferior. To overcome these problems, most plants have evolved one or another mechanism for dispersal of seeds over a wide area, which takes place through both biotic and abiotic factors. Fruits and seeds of angiosperms are often modified to enhance dispersal. Let us see the different abiotic vectors like wind, water, and air, which helps in seed dispersal. First one, autochore. This we can also call biochore. In this, it is the more novel and exciting ways in which seed dispersal through ballistic or explosive dispersal. In this method of dispersal, the fruit forcibly ejects the seeds, scattering them for a short distance. The common garden plant, Impatiens balsamea, produces capsule. When ripe, an animal brushing by the plant can cause the capsule to open instantly, scattering the seeds. Another plant, Egbalium elaterium, belongs to Cucurbitaceae, ejects its seeds as the fruit detaches from the stalk. A spectacular example of explosive dehiscence comes from the tropical sandbox called Hura cryptans. Upon drying, fruits of this tree explode into pieces, sending the seeds rocketing through the air at up to 70 meters per second and a distance up to 43 meters from the parent tree. Next one is anemochory, wind dispersal of seed. One of the most obvious modifications for wind dispersal is the wing. Winged seed fruits or seeds often have a single wing or more than one wings, cause a seed or fruit to spin or rotate as it falls, known as autorotation, that is self-rotation. In Alsomitra macrocarpa, commonly called Javan cucumber, produces lightweight seeds that are able to glide for long distance on large wings that resemble hang gliders. And few more examples for this are dandelion, platanus, and typhus, as well as seeds of milkweed. Next one is hydrochory, water dispersal of seed. Plants that live in wetlands environments or near the ocean may have bioant or floating fruits or seeds. Cranberries, particularly some species of vaccinium or low-growing plants found in boggy environments. Their bright red berries are not particularly sweet and thus probably not attractive to animals. However, cranberries fruits which float on water help in their seed dispersal in wetland habitats. Humans take advantage of these berries buoyancy during commercial production, as cranberries box can be flooded so that the floating berries can be more easily collected. Some plants with floating fruits or seeds can disperse a long distance over the ocean. The most obvious example of this is the coconut palm, scientifically called Cocos nucifera, which has large fibrous fruits that can float to and colonize oceanic islands. Similarly, legumes in the genus Attenda produce large buoyant seeds. Each seed harbors an air pocket which enhances its ability to float. Let us discuss the various types of biotic vectors like insects, birds, and animals which helps in seed dispersal. The first one is zoochory. Fruits are dispersed by vertebrates, especially certain mammals and birds, although fish and reptiles can also act as seed dispersal agents. Vertebrate dispersal fruits and seeds may be fleshy or may have fleshy coverings. And this zoochory, it is two types. First one is endozoochory, dispersal by ingestion. Fruits like raspberries, cherries, figs, guava are adapted for dispersal by vertebrates. Some fleshy fruits are consumed with seeds intact. The seeds pass through the digestive tract of the animals and are deposited elsewhere. Germination may be enhanced by weakening of the seed coat as it passes through the digestive tract, and this kind of seed dispersal through transport in the gut of an animal is called as endozoochory. And the second one is epizoochory, dispersal by adherence. Dispersal by adherence to the outside of an animal's body. A common method by which fruits are distributed in this way is to adhere to the fur or feet of a mammal. Fruits adapted for adherence are often covered with hook-like structure, sometimes minute and sometimes large and imposing. Fruits of many members of the Asteraceae have spines or hooks with the help of which they stick to the bodies of animals and get distributed over a large area. Next one is myrmecochory, seed dispersal by ants. Seed dispersal by ants often have small fat and protein rich appendages called elliosomes. Ants typically transport seeds with elliosomes to their nest, where they detach the elliosomes from the seeds. And this ant dispersal tends to occur over a short distance. Coming to the conclusion. By studying about seed structure, specialized seed appendages and dispersal mechanisms, it helps to know the interaction between the plants and biotic-abiotic components and adaptation character of plants to survive in diverse environments. And also variations in size, shape, color and surface in different seeds of lot of taxonomic importance and helps in plant identification. Let us revise the topic till now what we have learned. We learned seed is the unit of reproduction which has embryo and endosperm. We have learned that parts of a seeds are seed coat and embryo. We have also learned types of seeds based on number of cotyledons, that is monocotyledons and dicotyledons. We have learned the process of seed development. In this process, we learned about endosperm and embryo development. And also, we have learned how seed coat development takes place and different type of seed coats like Sarcoptesta, Sclerotesta like that. And also, we have learned about the size, shape, color and surface variations in different seeds. Next, we learn about the different types seed appendages like aril, caruncle, operculum, wings and heads. And finally, we have learned about the different type of seed dispersal mechanisms which takes place by both biotic and abiotic components. Okay students, now I am going to assign a project work to you. Go to the field, collect different type of seeds and note down the variations what you are observing their shape, size, color and surface.